Hello, viewers and listeners, and welcome to another episode of Heal with Carmen B TV. Today, we have a very exciting interview with Trudie, owner of Body Envy. And with Body Envy, she teaches women how to transform their body through 30-minute exercises 3 times a day using her app.
3 times per week.
Oh, thank you.
Not a day.
Now, if it was 3 times a day, y'all might say, we ain't watching this shit. This is over. Like,
3 times per week.
Right. There's no need to even watch anymore because nobody's doing that. 3 times per week. Thank you for correcting me, Drew, because I would have went right on, girl. Thank you for correcting me. And so today, Trudie, we really want to talk a lot about you being a business owner, right? Because we have a lot of women in this room who are also aspiring to become business owners or are business owners already, and would love to hear some more advice on how they can also be successful in that area of their life. And then, of course, we'll get into the nitty-gritty about transformation of amazing bodies and feeling good about ourselves and how you help women do that on a daily basis.
No problem.
And so I'll start with a series of questioning, and then we'll be able to turn it over to our beautiful audience. First, I want to thank everybody who's here today. You all look beautiful. You know, let's start with a little exercise, right? Let's get in the mindset. Let's free our minds, a little mindfulness. So I'm going to ask everyone, close your eyes. I mean, they're beautiful, but just close them for 1 second. And I want you to breathe in unhealthy attitude. Exhale, gratitude. And now we will begin. Thank you. So, back to business. Trudie, so first I want to ask you, what made you enter the business of fitness training?
I had a corporate job where I was extremely unhappy. I went to school, did the university thing, graduated. I majored in fine arts because I wanted to be an actress on Broadway. But then after school, there's this thing called bills.
Oh, I heard about those.
That needed to be paid. The bills were coming in faster than the acting gigs. So I was like, okay, these bills got to get paid.
Right.
So I entered the corporate world in insurance. I'm from Toronto. So in insurance, did that for a while. And I realized I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy to the point where I would go, when I got to work, I would have headaches.
I know that feeling.
I worked 8 to 4. I worked 8 to 4. If I got there at 7:50, nothing's getting done before 7:50, before 8, because I work 8 to 4.
Right, not paid for that.
3:50, anyone come around looking at me to have a conversation. I'm looking at them, I'm looking at the clock, letting them know, make this quick. It got so bad. When I was at work, I did my job, but
Right.
I did my job. Nothing above, nothing beyond. And I remember we would have monthly meetings, and in one of the meetings, my manager at the time said to me, "Why are you here?" She's like, when you're here, you do your work, but it's obvious you're only here for the paycheck.
Right.
How about you do something that you like? And I'm like what? She's like, you're into fitness, you're always eating clean, working out. How about you become a personal trainer? I remember looking at her and said, are you out of your mind?
Wow.
Do you want me to give up my guaranteed paycheck every 2 weeks, my 3 weeks vacation, and everything to become a personal trainer? I'm like, let's figure something else out. Did that for a while, went to another company, and I liked it at first, and then the old Trudie from the previous job showed up. Mm-hmm. That's when I realized it's not the companies, it's Trudie. I realized I'm not happy with what I'm doing, and I got to figure something out. Another friend of mine suggested training, kind of took it to heart. So I would work corporate 8 to 4, go to a gym where I would train clients 5 to 9. Did that for about 6 months. Then I was like, okay, let's transition this into a personal training business.
Nice.
And that's how I basically became an entrepreneur. I never set out to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
It just kind of happened.
So, I mean, I think for a lot of business owners, that was kind of like their story, right? Like being in a place that you're unhappy, and sometimes you don't really know what your gifts are yet, right? Or how they're going to be discovered. And so you kind of stay stuck in that
Exactly.
place, right? You stay stuck. But then you also get sick. Like, I know that all too well. Like, I remember I used to go to work and get hives. Like, from the time I sat down until I left, I had hives because of the level of stress just being there brought me. And so I told him that I think like a lot of us can speak to that experience of just being in a place where you're just not happy, right?
And I think what happened is a lot of people stay there because it's unhappy, but it's also safe.
Right.
And we don't realize, okay, it's safe, but are you happy?
Yeah.
And it is scary to go out there. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, no, I had this huge plan. I had nothing. I knew nothing what I was doing. I only knew I'm still young. I cannot do this until I'm 65. I can't live like this. I would get panic attacks going to work. I would have headache from 8 to 4. And the minute I left the office, it was like,
The sun started shining when you
it
left.
was like, and when it was time for bed, the panic attacks would come back in, and I had to take a shot of Bailey's Irish cream to go to sleep. And I'm like, I can't do this to
That's
my
stress.
liver, right?
Right.
So that's when I knew I had to figure something out. I had to make a change because it's like either I do this or continue being happy. And then, next thing you know, I've read so many stories how people become addicted to alcohol and drugs.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm already dependent on alcohol to get me to sleep. I don't want to go to anything else. So I got to do something. But it was scary.
Of course. How did you make that transition? Like, what was the breaking point, or how did you prepare for transitioning from your job to becoming a business owner?
Okay, first of all, let me just say this. The way I did it, I don't advise anyone to do it like that because I didn't have a proper plan.
Okay.
I only knew I can't do this anymore. I can't be at a cubicle. So as I said, I did the corporate thing for about 6 months while doing the personal training. If I was supposed to do it over again, I would have planned better. I probably would have maybe still give myself 6 months, but I would have cut back on expenses. I would have changed my lifestyle. I would have prepared more for the financial change that was coming.
Okay.
It was like I did it for about 4 to 6 months, and then in the last month, I'm gonna do this. I didn't plan properly. So that's why I said I wouldn't advise anyone to do it the way I did. Have a plan.
Yeah.
Is the plan gonna go according? No. But at least you have an idea of what you're doing. Have a few months' bills saved up because the bills don't stop coming in, but the funds comes in slower than the bills have to go out.
Right.
So I was just kind of like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I transitioned from the corporate to working full-time at the gym. When you work full-time at a gym, it's still not 40 hours a week pay. You don't train, you don't get paid, but the bills are coming in still. And then I realized I was no longer enjoying the gym because there wasn't enough emphasis based on customer service. It was more like, just get their money, just get their money. And I'm like, I can't do this. So I started asking, the clients that I have, what do you like about training? What don't you like? And what most of them had to say was they liked training, they just didn't like coming to the gym. They didn't feel comfortable coming to the gym. And I remember I was like, okay, so I'll start, how about I just come to you to train you? And that's how Body Envy kind of came about.
Okay.
I was at the gym first. Before I transitioned to Body Envy, I was gonna change gyms. And I remember I applied to about 3 or 4 gyms. And no one accepted me. And it's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And a friend of mine, she said, probably that's your sign to start your own business. And I was like, I never thought about that. And she's like, how about you just start your own business? And that's how that kind of came about. It was like, they said, you make a change. People usually make a change out of desperation, right? So I was desperate for a job, and it's like no one wanted to hire me, but I had these females willing to train. So how about I just do that, train them? And that's how it came about.
So what I'm hearing is, one, don't just quit your job.
No.
Because you have a dream and a passion. That's the first thing I definitely heard.
Unless you have a whole lot of, unless you have money somewhere to pay the bills.
Or someone who can pay the bills, right? Okay. And then the second thing I'm hearing is you might have to cut back on expenses, right? Cut back, which means you can't eat out.
Not might, you have to.
Well, okay, so you have to cut back, which means you can't go get the hair done and the weave done and the locks twisted every couple weeks, maybe not.
Here's what I say. You have to determine where you want to be. What sacrifices are you willing to make? Because I always say, even in the dictionary, sacrifice comes before success. So if you want to become successful...
That was a good one. I like that.
Yeah,
that was like, nice.
You want to be successful, okay? The money that you're going to do to get the hair and the nails done, is that going to help you to make money for where you want to be?
Right.
Because that was the thing. I had to learn, you can't be doing the nails every week anymore, honey. At the time I had hair, you can't be running to the hairdresser every week. You better start washing, flat ironing, and blow drying that bad boy yourself. Yeah. Because you get to a point where everything starts adding up.
Yes.
Right? You can't be running into Lululemon spending over $100 on tights, even though they make the booty look nice, but you can put that to your business. Right. And then that's when you realize, I think what happened with success, and especially in social media area, it gets lost, the sacrifice. We see so many people, quote unquote, successful, and it seems as if it happened overnight or without sacrifice.
Right.
You have to make sacrifices somewhere. You have to determine what sacrifices are you willing to make, and is it worth it? So is getting the hair lock every week, the nails, the new outfit, is that gonna help you get to where you want to be? Or how about you use that money into buying a book that you can read that will definitely help you get to where you want to be, right? So it's about, what are you willing to sacrifice?
Right. I think one really important thing that, I just heard you say, and something that I talk about often with people that I work with kids, is you can't look at someone else's success, right? And base what your success is going to look like off of it, because you don't know what it took for that person to be there, right? So that could be their education, that can be their own fitness, right? Like some people, you'll go to the gym and you have people looking at what this person is doing and they're running like, oh, okay, let me try to keep up. Well, you don't know how long it took that person to be able to run like that. Like, you have to start somewhere. And so everyone's path is different, and what's important is, remembering that you have to pave your own path. You can get mentors. You can ask people, hey, can you give me some suggestions, or tell me a little more about how you did it? And you can take bits and pieces, but it has to be your own story, right? It can't be a story just like someone else's, right? Because you were not created equal.
Exactly. And I like to say, stay in your lane. If you're the only one in the car and you go in the HOV lane, you're going to get a ticket.
That's right.
Stay in your lane, right? Don't try to keep up with the Joneses. You don't know what the Joneses had to do to get where they are. You don't know the sacrifices. I find so many of us, and I was guilty of this. We wanted the success, but were you willing to go through what they went through to become successful? If they told you their story, would you trade that? Would you want it? Or you just want the glitz and glamour of it, right?
Right. No, well, thank you. Thank you for that piece. I think that's really important. That's a really important message for people who are seeking success to hear.
And also, define your own success.
Yes.
Success for me could be different from you.
Absolutely.
And I realize not everyone wants to be a millionaire. Everyone wants to live comfortable. Some people, it's like, my success could be, hey, I work 20 hours a week, and as long as I can pay my bills and take care of my family and friends, I'm good. Whereas success for you could be like, you know what, I want to own a jet. But define your success. Don't let society or anyone else define your success. You set your own terms of what success is.
Absolutely.
You may have to, at some point, once you hit that, you may be like, okay, I hit this. Now let me set something else, right?
Because values change, right?
Exactly.
Depending on where you are in life. Today your goal may be, listen, I just want to be able to put food on the table every week. And then tomorrow, when you reach that goal, you may say, I want to be able to take 2 vacations a year, right? Because now you're hitting certain benchmarks in your life where you can change and redefine what success looks like for you.
And you change along the way,
You change.
right?
I always tell people, I am not the person I was last year, right?
Heck, I'm not the person I was 2 months ago.
Well, there you go. Like, so at my job recently, we took this thing called the DISC assessment, right? I can't tell you what it means, okay? But I did not like it because it's really attached to personality. And so one of the things that we're doing in my organization is, okay, let's everybody bring your DISC back to meetings. Let's, go back over the DISC. And I said, this no longer applies to me, because all of these questions I answered a year ago, that's the mindset I was in a year ago, right? And so this no longer applies to the person that I've evolved into, and it won't apply to the person I'll evolve into going forward. And so, I really encourage people to think about that. You are going to change. Your thoughts are going to change. You might have this. I had probably 100 business ideas. I have a wonderful cousin in the room, Amanda, who will tell you every minute I got 10 new ideas and they change on a regular basis. And my friend Manushka will tell you, she said, just write it down because you're going to tell me something different tomorrow, right?
How about I say take it one step further?
Yeah.
Instead of just writing it down, how about you start doing it?
Well, you know why I don't? Because I'd be like, no, I don't want to do that. Now I want to do something different because I'm crazy. That's why. I can admit that. I own my crazy. But, again, your values change. Your what you want may change based on your current circumstance. Things will change. So I think that was a great piece of advice. Could you talk to us about some of the greatest rewards you've had since making this transition?
Oh, wow. The fact that I get to help others, the fact that I get to help women, have a body they like. And I specify women because we live in a society where it's completely okay for us women to constantly give to everyone else. We give to our coworkers, we give to our children, we give to our significant others. However, when it comes to giving to ourselves, society makes us feel guilty about that. Most women I know, it's like, why don't you have a health and fitness routine? Why don't you do this? It's always, I'm busy. I have to do this at work. I have to do this for the spouse. I have to do this for the children. But what about you? It's like, no, I'm fine. And so many times when we do take time out to do anything for ourselves, especially if you're a mom, society makes you feel as if you're not a good mother because that time and money you're spending on yourself, you could be spending it on your child. Also, as women, if we take a day off to rest and recover, we do feel guilty. But I always say this, when have you ever heard a man feel guilty about laying on the couch all day, watching football or playing a video game? And I'm not bashing men. But it's the truth. Because I have male friends, they feel absolutely no way about spending the Sunday watching football game, playing, a video game, or just doing nothing. But a woman, if we take half a day for ourselves, we feel guilty. And I always said, the reality is most of the emotional and household responsibility fall on us.
Women, right.
However, if you're empty, how are you supposed to help the people and things you care about? You keep pouring from the glass, at some point you have to replenish it, right? Those people and things that you care so much about, if you're not taking care of your health, how are you supposed to be there for them? Because it doesn't matter what we have to say. Yeah, we want money so we can pay the bills. If you're unhealthy, you cannot make that money.
Yes.
And our health is our priority number one. And when you make time to work out, make time to eat clean, that definitely helps you to be healthy. It decreases your blood pressure. If you have diabetes issues, that definitely helps. Hell, it increases our self-esteem and our confidence. So that was part of the reason why I wanted to help women. It's like, okay, you know what? I'm a single woman and it's hard enough for me to incorporate the time. How about I help you? Let me show you how you can do it. It's not impossible, but it is possible. We just have to make tweaks. Like when I hear women say, I don't have the time to work out, I don't have the time to do this. However, they can list all the reality shows that they watch.
Yes.
It's like...
And Netflix originals.
Yeah, it's not a matter of you don't have the time. Either it's not a priority or you don't know what to do. Right? So that's where I come in. It's like, if you're going to tell me you don't have the time and I realize that it's not that you don't have the time, you don't care. It's like, how about I show you how you can do it, right? And that definitely does help. So that was part of the reason I wanted to cater to women. It's like we are the minority.
Yes.
You know, we are constantly pushed to the side. We're constantly giving to each other. Okay, how about you start pouring into you? We start pouring into ourselves so we have more to pour out to the family and friends.
Right. And that's a great point. I think it's something that I talk about on a regular basis is how much as women we give. And it's also a cultural thing, right? If you come from a certain culture where you're almost raised to cater to others. You know, growing up for me, I was always taught to give. You know, I never was taught self-care, how to love me, how to look out for me, how to make sure that my needs were met first. And I think as for a lot of cultures, you know, my grandmother always told me, you want to have a man, you got to cook. And if you want to have this, you got to be able to clean. And if you want, you know, and it was like, okay, so I grew up constantly wanting to please everyone else and constantly giving. And now that I've learned differently, no is my favorite word. Like, no is the top word in my vocabulary. Nope. I didn't even ask you yet. Nope. Not available. And that's to anyone. My mother, my children. I don't care. If I am not well rested, if I don't feel like I've gotten what I need for the day to be successful, to feel vibrant, I don't got it.
And how long did it take you to get there? Because I feel that
most of
us were raised that way. And I realized it's not to take away from our parents. It's they couldn't teach us what they didn't know.
You parent the way you were parented.
We're in a society now where self-care is becoming important. Where most of us weren't taught that.
Right.
Most of us weren't taught how to take care of ourselves. Most of us were taught to take care of the siblings, the man, everyone else. So it's like, while I'm taking care of everyone else, who's taking care of me?
That's right.
Right? But how long did it take you to get to that point where you're able to say no?
Oh, wow. I would say over the past year has been my true evolution. Like, to everyone. You know, before I started saying it to my mom first, like, nah, ma, I can't do it.
And did you feel guilty?
Hell no. Oh. No. Let me, you know, because it started feeling so good to do it that I no longer, she would try to make me feel good. I don't care. So I don't care, Mom. And I would tell her, I don't care how you feel about that. This is where I am. Because that's what my mom does. My mom gives from an empty place on a regular basis, and so do many of the women in my family, right? But the more I did it, the more confident I felt in being able to say no without feeling guilty, and also understanding why I'm saying. I'm not saying no just because I'm a jerk. I'm not saying no just because I don't give a damn to help people. I'm saying no because right now I don't have it to give you, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like even being here today, doing this podcast is self-care. Like, I'm here today because this feels good. It feels good to be here with other women, like-minded women, talking to you. I feel like this is part of my self-care, is doing what I want to do, right?
Exactly. And that's what self-care is about. It's what makes you feel good. Because what makes me feel good would probably differs from you.
Absolutely.
Normally on Sundays when I'm home in Toronto, what makes me feel good is, one, not making plans to do anything with anyone. It's like, I got to get up early to deal with clients and my business during the week and even on Saturdays. It's like, on Sundays, I don't want to be committed when I'm home to anyone or anything.
Absolutely.
If I get out of bed and I'm like, all right, I want to hang, okay, we can hang. But I find for me, Sundays, it's, I still have on the robe. I may get some
day
more.
Of rest.
On Sundays, my alarm doesn't even get disarmed because I have no business. I'm not making any plans to leave my house. Like, leave me alone. Sunday's my day. Some days on some weeks on Sundays, I don't even know where the phone is at home, and I don't care. You have an emergency? Call 911, not Trudie.
Absolutely.
Because it took a while to get there, and I find that has definitely helped me because it's like I'm able to start off a new week feeling fresh, not feeling drained and tired, because I learned that the way we start our week, it has a ricochet effect for the rest of the week. Right. I find that when I used to start my week tired, I could never recover from that. And the entire week felt so long and drawn out.
You couldn't find your sweet spot. You need to be able to find your sweet spot and feel good in everything you do. And I think that's really important for anyone who's interested in going into business as well. Like, going into business doesn't mean I'm no longer working 9 to 5. I'm now working 9 to 5 for me. And sometimes it's even more than that, right? Like your business can take 12 hours a day. Nonetheless, it's so important to also just find some time for quiet, time for resting your mind, resting your body, and so that you can give all that you have into your business and be productive. Because you cannot be productive when you're tired. I mean, when I'm tired, I can't do nothing.
I can't think straight.
Oh, I feel drunk when I'm tired. Like, so I'm like, if I'm feel drunk, I might as well be drunk. I mean, I'm just saying. But I mean, it's really important to know how to take care of your body, and that's through rest, whatever you choose, rest, eating well, exercise, meditation, prayer, take a walk,
whatever makes you feel good.
Whatever brings you to that sweet place. Yeah, I mean, just like you said, you don't have your phone during, my ringer goes off on my phone by 8 p.m. every night, ringer off. I don't care. My mom says, what if there's an emergency? What am I gonna do?
That's my attitude.
If somebody dies, am I gonna bring them back to life? If you tell me at 8 o'clock that someone has passed, what's gonna be the difference if you tell me in the morning? I'd rather deal with it when I'm fully rested. Now I'm crying and sleepy. That don't work.
But can you go to sleep?
Well, so I don't want to hear it. That's what I'm saying. If you tell me at night, I can't go back to sleep. Oh, he died. I'm so sorry. That is just not going to happen. So I turn my ringer completely off. I tell my oldest son. Go ahead.
Mine goes on. Do not disturb automatically by 9 p.m.
Oh yeah, no, I'm 8 o'clock. I can't. I don't want any phone calls. And I have a house phone. Nobody knows the number. I don't even know why I have a house phone. I mean, but I purposely don't give out that number. And my sister and my mom, you never gave me the house phone number. I didn't give it to you. I'm gonna text it to you right now. Still haven't done it, and that's been about a year since I've been texting it to them, and they ain't received it yet. But no, thank you for that. That is really important. Self-care is important no matter what you're doing. And so now that we've talked about some of your greatest success and your greatest rewards, tell us about some of the greatest challenges you've had.
Not fully being prepared for entrepreneurship, not realizing how lonely it is.
At the top.
Anywhere. Yeah. At the bottom, at the top, it's lonely.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for that. I wasn't prepared for how much work it took. That's why it irks me whenever I hear people are like, I'm tired of working hard. I want to start my own business. Honey, if you think you're working hard now, wait until you start your own. Because when you start your own, it takes a whole new meaning. Because most people who start a business, it's something they're passionate about. That's one. Two, there's no 9 to 5. Even when you're not working, you're working. Your brain's always going. Even on Sundays when I don't go hang out or train clients or work on my mentorship program or anything, my brain is still going. I am there prepping for the week. You don't stop working because one, it's yours, right? And especially when you're starting, it's you don't kill, you don't eat, right? So when you're starting, you're a one-person show because you don't have money to do anything. You don't have money to hire anyone. I had to learn how to do so many things. Prior to starting my business, I knew nothing about business, about marketing. I didn't come from a business background. I didn't have anyone in business or marketing around me. So I had to learn, how am I going to get those clients in? Right. How am I going to build a website? When I build the website, what am I going to put on it? Right? I had to learn all those things. It was very, very lonely. Now on Instagram, I post, videos a few times a week of me exercising. When I just started that, it was a nightmare because one, I didn't know how to record properly. Two, I didn't know how to edit, so I had to be doing everything. Now I can record and edit while I'm on the phone. I'm a pro at that, but it took a while. At first, you have to do everything yourself. You're your own billboard. You're your own marketing. You're your own admin assistant. You're doing everything, and it is lonely. And I feel what happens is when you start a business, a lot of people are scared to ask for help because you don't want people to know that you're not doing well. So you're scared of them judging you. So you stay behind the scenes and try to do everything. So that's what I would have said were the biggest lows. And another one was the support system. I didn't have a healthy support system. Not to take anything away from my friends and family. When I decided to do this, no one understood. Why are you walking away from your job?
Right.
When it got rough, I isolated myself from anyone because that shame of, well, you chose this.
Yeah.
You know, you could have still be there getting your 2 weeks paycheck, or why don't you go back to the corporate world? So all of those loneliness for 2 years, I isolated myself from my parents because they weren't supportive.
Yeah.
In retrospect, I completely understand their point, but at the time, I thought they were hating. Sometimes when we have people around us, you know, I hear so many people like, parents are the biggest dream killers. Maybe some of them are, but what we should also try to do is look at it from their perspective. It's like, how are you going to pay your bills? So sometimes they're coming from a place of caring, and we got to appreciate that. But what I learned was, if what you're doing, you believe in it,
Right.
you're gonna find some way to make it happen. So me choosing to isolate myself from my family for a while, it was like, I'm gonna do this. Either you're with me, but I can't handle the stress of running a business, trying to get it where I need to be, and having to explain to you why I don't go back to a corporate job. Why am I doing this, right? So, I started a mentorship program because I told myself that when I get to a certain point, I want to pay it forward and help other entrepreneurs, teach them things I wish I had learned earlier. And that was something when they're like, my friends and family don't understand. And that's fine. Here's what I have to say: anyone who's looking to start a business and you're going through that, stop trying to force them. It's their opinion. If they don't accept it, how about you find people who support you where you are, and you just gravitate over there, right? Because, as I said, it's lonely, it's stressful, it's the mental and emotional drain. You go through every emotion in a day. Hell, in 10 minutes, being an entrepreneur. Half the time I ask myself, what the hell am I still doing?
Yeah.
And then it's like, all right, I'm good, I got this. 10 minutes later, girl, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Right? So those were the lows.
Okay.
The loneliness.
Yeah, I could
Scared
definitely
of
see that.
asking for help because you feel as if you're failing, not knowing where to go for help. That's the
too.
biggest thing.
Right.
It's like, and that's where I found, okay, you got to find a community that the people over here are supporting you, that, you can help each other. Stop trying to get the people who don't get it to understand.
Right.
They said, go where you're wanted, go where you're welcome.
Right.
Stop trying
Exactly.
to force the door.
I think, and those are really great points, right? Is being able to ask for help. I think also, like, we're taught that asking for help is a sign of weakness, right? I mean, it's taught in our society.
And then most of us suffer in silence. When it's like, if we had just gone out and asked for help.
All the resources are there.
Yeah. But if you don't ask, people think you're okay, so people aren't really going to offer help, right?
I think another big challenge to asking for help is trusting, right? And it's being able to know, who can I ask for help? Who can I trust? I mean, I've been in situations where I've done a lot of different events and have been burned by people who I thought were supporters, who were really set out to sabotage whatever I was trying to do. And so whenever that happens, that causes you to draw back a little more, right? And to think, you know what? I'm just going to do this solo because people are grimy, right? And then you really shut down. But also keep in mind that you can't trust again, right? And at the end of the day, those people are just going to be there. There's nothing you can do about that.
Exactly.
There's nothing you can do about it. But you can find a great support system, and find people that you can't only stick with your people, because you have to venture out, because there's a wealth of knowledge everywhere around you. If you only stick with your circle, that will hinder your growth.
And I think a lot of people are scared to do that because they feel that if they step out of their circle, they're considered a sellout.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to do. I have girlfriends that all we do is talk personal. We talk everything personal. I have girlfriends, all we do is talk business because that's what we have in common. I have girlfriends that we talk personal and business. So stepping out doesn't mean you're leaving the
Right.
people you've known forever behind. You are just building a different circle,
Right.
because I have my core where I know, push come to shove, they'll happily dig eyes out for you. One of them on Instagram, whenever anyone says anything mean about me, she's on them. I can't reply,
Right.
but she'll happily reply.
You need a few of those. You need a few of those.
But at the same time, I have girlfriends where it's like, okay, this is what's happening in my business. Like, how are you getting past this? And we don't talk anything personal.
Right.
It's strictly business. But you have to be vulnerable.
Yes,
You have to be
that's
vulnerable,
hard.
and you have to put yourself out there.
That's a big
because
one.
you try to do everything yourself, okay, fine. But guess what? How far are you going to get?
Right.
How far are you going to get? Because you can only go so far on your
Alone.
own.
That's right. That's right.
And at some point, you're going to start spinning circles because you're doing so much and you're going to get burnt out, right? So the trust factor is huge. I've had to deal with that, but then it sucks at first, but then you just realize it's life.
Right.
If you've been in love and you've gotten burnt, you say you're never going to love again. At some point, you got to love again.
Yeah.
It's just kind of the same thing, right?
But we know trust and vulnerability go together, and if one is betrayed, both kind of suffer from it.
Exactly.
Nonetheless, though, you can find people that will work for you. And what Trudie just said, you can have more than one circle. You can have two circles, 3 circles, 4
can have
circles.
10 circles.
That's right.
Just make sure you know the purpose and your role in each circle.
Right.
So if your circle over here is strictly for business, don't come over there talking about kids and babies and personal stuff. Just know your circle where you are and just keep it that. You can have that.
And your circles can change, if your
circles will change.
If your circle doesn't serve you, then you have to make decisions. And sometimes that's hard for people to do too. Is to separate from individuals who are not conducive to their growth. I mean, I feel like no matter what circle you're in, you should all be helping each other grow in some way, whether that's emotionally, through business, physically, whatever it is. And so if your circle is no longer serving you in the way that you need it to, it's okay to break bond and move on.
Yeah, and I'm glad you spoke about the emotional and mental aspect. And I feel for people in business, entrepreneurs or people starting a business, enough emphasis is placed on that.
Yes.
I feel so much emphasis is placed on making the money, getting the money. But sometimes you're not making the money or can't get ahead because you're blocked mentally and emotionally.
Yes.
And I know that because I remember there was a point I was doing so much, but it just seemed like nothing was happening. And that was because mentally and emotionally, I wasn't open, right? So it's like you have to also look at your mental and emotional state. What's your faith? Do you believe in God? Do you believe in a stone? I feel that you have to believe in something because not if, but when that time gets rough, what are you going to use to push you forward? Right? And I don't think a lot of emphasis is based on that.
That's so important.
Placed on that. And that's important if you're going to become an entrepreneur because you are carrying a lot. If you have staff, people who are working for you, you're carrying there because if you're not bringing enough bills for them to pay their bills, they're going to leave. What are you going to do? So as an entrepreneur, you're shouldering a lot. So you need to make sure your mental and emotional state is strong.
Right. Awesome. Thank you for that. And so I know you gave in this whole incredible discussion, you gave one great piece of advice is don't try to convince others that what you're doing is right. So that was whether parents or friends, they don't need to agree with you.
Why waste your energy there? Use that energy and go where you're welcome
go where you're
and
supported.
Help others so they can help you.
So that was a great piece of advice because I was only going to ask for 2, but now we got to ask for 3. So that was 1, right? If you could give this amazing audience 2 more pieces of great advice for those who are really looking forward to stepping out and making that money move.
Mentor. Get a mentor. That was one of my biggest regrets. I know they say don't have any regrets. Boo-hoo, that's mine. Get a mentor. When you have a mentor, they will help to guide you. You're still gonna screw up.
Yes.
I don't know if I can curse.
Oh, you can, girl, listen. We open here.
Oh, you're still gonna fuck up,
Yeah.
right? But when you fuck up, you have someone to give account for. You're held accountable. You have someone to guide you. I honestly felt that had I had a mentor, a lot of errors I made, I wouldn't have made them, or I would have done certain things differently. So I highly believe in mentor, because you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
It is that simple.
That's it.
You don't know what you don't know. A mentor can guide you, help you get to where you need to go faster, place you with the right connections, help you see things differently, but definitely get a mentor. Mentorship is important for growth.
So that means you need to ask for help.
Yeah, and when choosing a mentor, ask yourself, what do you want from this mentor? What can this mentor teach you? Is it someone that's where you want to be in certain respects? So don't just go out and get a mentor just for the hell of it. Do your homework. Whoever you're going to ask to be your mentor, why do you want them to be your mentor? What do they have that you want? How do you think they can help you? Those are things that are important, because I know some people just go in and get a mentor and it's like, oh, it's not what I thought. But what did you have in mind?
Right.
What did you want them to teach you? What did you hope to learn? Were they where you wanted to be?
Right.
Right?
And so I guess in getting a mentor, you, one, make that list of what you're looking for in a mentor. And if you seek out a mentor to say, this is what I'm looking for, and is this something you can help me with? Instead of just saying, hey, can you be my mentor? And not also being clear and open with them about what your needs are and what you're looking for.
Exactly. I think it's important. If you're seeking out a mentor, you should have that list. And if someone decides they're going to be your mentor, they should also be asking. So it's both of you going blindly. How are you going to help each other?
That's transparency.
Right?
Definitely being open and having people to really understand, like, what did you come here for? What do you need?
And you have to also be vulnerable
Yes.
to your mentor, because I've learned that someone can't help you if you have a wall up, if you're lying. Because if you're lying to yourself, you're going to lie to them. They're going to help you or provide you with the information on that lie. And how's that going to help you? How's that serving you? Right?
Absolutely. Thank you. All right. Everyone got that? That was some good advice. Okay. Now we need one more. One more sound piece of advice.
Find a community, build a community, find a community. Whether you want to build a community, whether you want to find a community to belong to, because as I said, it is lonely. Even when you're in the community, you're still going to go through things. But when you have that support system and you realize, oh, you've been through this too. Oh, I'm going through this too. Oh, how can I help each other? That community is important.
Right.
And that's why I said, if you belong to a community where they're not fostering your growth, they can't help you, stop asking them to see it your way. Go find a community where, and I feel now it's so much easier to find a community. Instagram, Facebook, it's so much easier. Meetup, it's so much easier to find a community. And when seeking a community, kind of seek out a community as if it's someone, you want to date. You just don't want to meet them and be like, hey, let's go steady. Kind of groom them, be groomed. See, okay, this community, is it something that I want to be a part of now? You don't have to think 5 years down the line, because you are going to change, right? But it's like, where am I now? Can this community help me now where I am? And where do I want to be in another 3 to 6 months? Can this community help me get there? Do your homework. Make sure you are clear of what you want from the community, and also the value you bring, right? And this is somewhat off topic. What I honestly dread is whenever I receive a DM or a message, oh, can you help me with this? Can you help me with this? I've always tell people, you got to make deposits before you make withdrawals. What does that mean? Pour in first before you take out. Too many of us, I've been guilty of it. Too many of us ask about me. This is how I will benefit. That's such a turnoff. I find when you let people know, hey, can I help you with this? Can I do this? When you offer first to people, they're much more inclined to be open to you and offer themselves to you. But if you're coming, just think about it. If every time someone's coming to you, can I have this? Can I have this? Can I have this? Do you want to help them? Right? They have to help.
Right.
They have to pour into you first. So, yes.
Awesome.
That's right.
Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And so we talked a lot about business and all of Trudie's success and challenges, and she's given some great advice on some things that you can consider as you make decisions on where you want to do, what you want to do, and how you want to move forward in your life, and set your goals and bang them out, right? And now we also want to learn more about fitness. Who wants to learn more about fitness? Transformation,
Yay!
bodies, summer bodies. Okay, me too. All right, so I know one thing you talked about is being in business and finding the time to take care of yourself, because your business is not 8 to 4 or 9 to 5. Like you're always running your business, even when you're not working with clients. How do you find the time to take care of yourself, to follow your fitness regimens?
Well, I go to bed around 9 p.m. and I'm up between 3:30 and 4 a.m. That took a while to get there. But I realized, when I tried to fit it in, when I tried to fit my reading of the Bible, the meditation, the exercise in the middle of the day, like what was happening, it wasn't happening. Because one, I would train clients in the morning, come home, then I would have phone calls, appointments. The day was just on the go, and I realized I wasn't getting it in, or it wasn't as effective. It was basically like I'm half-assing it at 1 p.m. because I've already been up since 4 or 5.
Right.
So I realized, okay, you're teaching women about health and fitness. How are you getting it in? So it was like I realized, okay, I gotta sacrifice something. I'm not a big TV person.
Right.
So watching series or stuff like that, I don't even think my TV has been on. I usually just watch stuff on the laptop now. So for me, it's not like I have to stay up to watch this series or something like that. And those days when I used to do that, I used to say, you know what? These actresses are getting paid and they got to make sure their body is on point. I got to make time for mine. Right. So for me, it's getting up earlier in the mornings. That doesn't work for everyone. What I usually tell women is see what time works best for you. Because I have clients, they're not training at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. for nothing. Right. They're at 10 p.m. So I would say, figure out what point in your day works best for you. Mm-hmm. Okay, if you have young kids, probably in the evenings while they're watching their program, you get your workout in. Right. If going to bed earlier works for you, but just also find what time works for you. And for me, getting up at 3:30, 4 a.m. to get it in, it's just like, I feel accomplished. It's like, all right, it's done. I don't have to worry about doing it for the rest of the day. It wasn't easy. Start getting up at that time. I had to start making steps, and now it's like, sometimes I'm even up before the alarm goes off. But I go to bed early.
Right. So you could train your body, right? You could train your body,
train
your mind to do anything.
Our mind to do anything.
Right.
We just have to train it, right? It's just a matter of, and I find what happens is some of us, we try to go from here to over here in one shot. You're here. So if you're accustomed to getting up at 6, how about you just start getting up at 5:45? Just a little. If you're accustomed to going to bed at 11, 11:30, don't tell yourself you're going to start going to bed at 8, 9 o'clock. It's not going to happen. Yeah. Just try like 15, 30 minutes earlier. I find when we start making small changes, that definitely help. But most of us, we just want to dive right in.
Absolutely. I mean, like you said, you can train your body to do anything.
Exactly.
And it's really about making a decision. Like, you can keep saying, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. But once you really make that decision and make a decision to commit is when that change is going to start and when it's going to happen.
As Nike said, just do it.
Nice. So what type of diet do you follow?
First, I don't use the word diet because for me, and even with my clients, I find diet spells short term, right? So short term, why make it short term? Okay, are you're gonna diet for 6 weeks, and then what happened to the next 46 weeks?
Right.
So for me, it's about nutrition, eating clean. Certain things I don't eat. Some's easier because I'm lactose intolerant, so lactose isn't a problem. This is what I do. I eat fruits, vegetables, fish, and salmon. I don't like to cook. Yes, I'm Jamaican. I don't like to cook. So I'm not one of those people who are, oh, I'm going to be in the kitchen for 4 hours prepping this. I don't post a lot of my meals on Instagram like other trainers because my meal isn't quote unquote pretty. I just, give me the chicken, give me the salmon, put them together. I don't care.
Right.
Is it going to fill me up? And for someone who doesn't like to cook, I like eating clean because I notice the way I feel, the way, my mind feels, sometimes how my body feels. And as you get a little older, you realize some foods your body are like, I don't want that anymore.
Rejection.
Yes. So I think that also helps. I'm not big on sugar, but I love salt. And I love coffee.
Right. No,
so for me, and what I teach my clients is about eating clean and healthy, having food, fruits, vegetables, fish, salmon. I don't like the word cheat day. I prefer treat. And I believe in, okay, you want to have that donut? Have it. Just don't have it every day.
Right. And don't have four.
And don't have four. What we don't realize, one bad meal doesn't make you unhealthy.
Right.
The same way one good meal doesn't make you healthy. It's about what you do 80% of the time. And I find that when we spend the time to prepare our meals, that definitely does make it easier.
Yeah.
Because if it's not prepared, let's be honest, you're rushing home in the evenings, you're going to pull up to a McDonald's, you're going to pull up to a fast food restaurant. So, I try to prepare as much as possible on Sundays. I love smoothies, so I have a smoothie every day before my workout or later in the day. But definitely preparation, and I don't bring the bad stuff home. That's a big thing.
That's a good one.
If I don't bring the Miss Vicky's chips home, I can't go for it because it's salty. So the minute I crave it, it's there. Now, I live in Toronto. In winter, I'm not getting dressed to go to the store for that. I'm going to find something else. So it's like, if it's not home, the chances of you having it are less. So what I usually do and also advise my clients, whatever your weakness is, keep it out. Go out, have it, leave it out there. Don't bring it home because the minute you bring it home, it's so much easier to have, right? And definitely prepare. Preparation.
Yeah. I really liked the piece of advice, don't bring it home. Like if you're going to have a treat, right? Have it while you're out.
Yeah,
right?
And leave it out. If there are leftovers, don't bring it home. Don't bring it home.
I like that. I think that is like a really big takeaway. I think one thing that's really important that, I try to follow and encourage others is as you make that lifestyle change to having a cleaner diet and trying to eat healthy. I love to cook. Like I cook.
You want to move in with me?
Listen, I will cook and cook and cook. And like I was raised in the kitchen, so that is just like one of my passions. Oh, I see. There you go.
I'll clean up happily.
One of my passions is definitely cooking, but I also encourage people like try not to fall into like the fads, right? Like the grapefruit diet and the peanut butter diet, and
those are all fads,
right? Like try because that is not something that's sustainable.
And that's my thing. Can you have cabbage soup every day in another 3 weeks?
Right. No.
Can you have grapefruit every day for another week?
Right.
So that's why I teach, start making small changes daily.
Right.
Daily. Just start with it daily, and see where it takes you. You're not accustomed to having a fruit, so you're accustomed to having 3-4 donuts in a day. Start by knocking off one of those donuts and replacing it with an apple. Start making changes, something simple every day.
Right. No, and eating healthy doesn't have to be boring either. I think that's another thing that like a lot of people I realize have that challenge is, I got to eat salads all the time. And it's like, no, not at all. Like you said, make those small changes. Try to stay away from too much fried stuff or, things that you just know are not right. Like, you know that having fried chicken on a regular basis is just not right. You know it's not right. So, start to cut back on those things or, having sweet potato casserole and all. Like, it's not right. So it's just like, just cutting back. But eating healthy does not I experiment with my healthy eating regularly. I always trying something new. And there's so much information out there for great things you can try. And if you're a picky eater, though, that's a little harder too. Because I know some picky eaters. I don't eat that, and I don't eat that. Well, then you eat a salad. Because this is ridiculous.
Eat air.
I can't
eat
help
air.
you.
Can you eat the air?
Right.
Have some air.
Exactly. So there are, for picky eaters, it is a little harder. But I think that's one thing to really keep in mind is that you can have fun eating and still be healthy.
And the reason why a lot of people think it's boring, it's because most of us were raised where you have to add all this butter and lard and all these things to make it taste better. And our palate is accustomed to that.
Right.
So once again, start making small changes. The biggest thing is, as I said before, most of us, we try to make a change and we're down here and we try to zoom up there. We try to do as Drake says, go from 0 to 100. Leave that to Drake. How about you go from 0 to 0.5, 0.5 to 1? Just slowly.
And
that's
make those
what
changes.
That's what I realized was happening, because even though, I teach women 30 minutes 3 times per week, I found that for a lot of women, going from doing nothing to 30 minutes 3 times a week was a lot.
Yeah.
Right? And this was something I did through surveys. So what I also did was created something else for the women who either haven't done anything in a while or who has never done anything. And for the 30 days, it's a jump start. So each day you're given a different task, something so easy to start. You're like, this is it. Then the next day we add to it. The next day we add to it.
Right.
And by the end of the 30 days, you're like, oh, okay, I got this. I can do this. It's, building on it. And I found that clients have had amazing results, because it's like, the first one, as I said, it's so easy and you don't even think about it. But then because we keep adding to it daily, and you feel that sense of accomplishment. Okay, I got this one. What's the next one? Okay, I got this. Add more to it. And I found that definitely has worked, right?
And it becomes a part of your routine, right?
Exactly.
You develop a growth mindset, so you move from one way of thinking and you move to another way of thinking. I know for me, being raised in a Honduran household, like we had to have several things on the plate. Like that's how it was. My grandmother would make spaghetti, rice, and fried chicken, right? And so, and that was normal to me. So trying to change the way I ate, I was like, you ruined me. Like, look what you did to me. And I could not eat without at least 3 or 4 things on my plate. And just changing the way you eat, changing your relationship with food. Like, if you have an unhealthy relationship with food, that's also going to be a detriment to your health style. So really just changing your relationship with food, right? And now I can just have some grilled chicken and broccoli. I'm good. And I'm just eating all with my hands. Like, and I feel like everything on my plate is a popper, because I don't need to have a million things on my plate anymore. And I don't feel like I'm missing something anymore. So really just changing the way you think about it.
Exactly.
And changing your relationship with food. So one thing I know is that everyone watches fitness trainers online, watches their cut, their muscles, their everything, and then they look up to them, right? Like, oh, I want to be just like her, and I want that body. And a lot of people look at fitness trainers like they're gods, right? Like, oh my God, yeah, I want to look just like that. It's not going to happen. I just want to put that out there. That's their body. You have your own, right? But one thing, they're humans, right? And so I always say, like, we all have challenges when it comes to fitness, but we also have weaknesses. So let's talk about some of your weaknesses. What are some of your favorite treats?
Wine.
Ooh,
Moscato wine.
Let me take a sip to that.
Girl. Let's just
Lord.
say when the Moscato wine opens in my house, finish what I start. It ain't I don't have wine, I'm a trainer. Give me the wine. Moscato, bottoms up.
Yes.
Used to be pizza, but I realized my body doesn't like pizza anymore. But pizza, I could finish a thing of pizza on my own. You look at me as if you want a slice. It's like, do I really got to give you a slice?
Yes.
But yeah, wine.
Yes.
Moscato wine specifically, because Moscato wine, I'm not into sweets, but that's the only thing I'll have
I love
sweet.
Moscato.
Because Moscato wine is sweet, so you're just there kind of enjoying it, and you're like, hold on, I'm nice. Like, what just happened?
From that, you go to 0 to 100.
Yes,
Quick.
yes. But definitely wine is, I would say, my biggest thing. I just I got a weakness for the wine. As I said, I'm not big on sugar. I can see the sugar and not to have it. And Miss Vicky's potato chips because it's salty.
I don't know if I ever had those.
So that I definitely don't bring that home.
They're
The
good?
salt.
Y'all had them?
Yeah, the salt. I'm a salty girl.
Okay.
So you can put a big cake in front of me now. You can have it, but you bring out the chips. It's like, how them abs be looking?
Yeah.
Now I'm glad you brought that up about everyone looking up to these trainers. And what I always say is, even being a trainer myself, when I see some of these trainers posting, my second workout for the day, and I work out an hour and a half, 2.5 hours, 6 days a week, when I see them posting these things, I'm like, where you get the time from for this? One, two, do you expect the average woman to do this? And I found that to be unrealistic and intimidating to most women. And that's why I'm like, most women don't have an hour and a half, 2.5 hours every day in the gym. Realistically, you can get it 30 minutes 3 times a week if you're consistent, if you're eating clean.
And get the results you're looking for.
And the thing is consistency, because I don't work out every day and I no longer go to the gym. I love the gym, but it's just that I realize the busier I get, it's just more conducive to me to work out at home. So I created, a gym at home where half of my living room is a gym. So when family is like, we should have dinner at your house, we're in my gym. No, we ain't doing that. We come into your place. And I'm unapologetic about that because I realize, it's also, as we said, as you change, your lifestyle change. I can no longer go to the gym every day. That's taking time out of something. However, working out is important to me because I love how I feel, how I look after. So, okay, how can I bring the gym to me? Okay. And the beautiful thing about working out at home, you can do it half naked. You can get up in the morning with your head tie on, with your bra and panty, just put on some running shoes, bra,
and you don't
panty,
have to
running
brush your
shoes. And
teeth.
Exactly, you're home. So, and especially if you have young kids, you don't have to worry about childcare because they're there sleeping while you're working out. I always say, if you have enough space to stand, you have enough space to work out. You don't need the big equipment in the gym. Those are bonuses. But as long as you have enough space to stand, you're good.
I think another thing like that you brought up when other trainers are posting around, about their second workout in the day and my 2.5 hour workout. I want to remind you, you could be anybody you want to be on social media.
I like that.
You can be anybody. You could be a model. You can be a mama and not even really be a mama. And you could post that you've been working out for 2.5 hours because on Instagram we only see in 1 minute.
Not even a minute.
Even that. And so just keeping in mind that people will sell you anything.
That doesn't mean it's the truth.
That's what it is. People will sell you anything.
And what another friend of mine liked to say is everyone's life is perfectly curated on Instagram. So just think about that, because even for myself, sometimes going on Instagram, these days I limit my time for it purposely, because when you're dealing with your own BS behind the scenes and you go on Instagram and you see all these people living their best life, we're human. It starts to mess with us mentally. And sometimes I notice that happening to me, and then I'm like, just think about the bullshit you were dealing with last week. Did you post that? So no, they're dealing with bullshit too. So even for myself, I'm cautious as to what I post. I post mostly stuff that I know will definitely help women, stuff that will uplift women, not things like I'm out here living my best life, flying here. No.
And people don't post their failures. People do not post their failures. They only want you to see what's good. You don't know what happened to them last night. You only know that this morning they're up and they're smiling, and that might not even be a real smile. And so
and it's just that millisecond. Millisecond. It's not even a minute. It's just that millisecond that they posted, right?
Exactly. So those are really good points to make. First of all, I need to know, because there are so many types of workouts. What is your favorite type of workout?
HIIT, and I love weights.
Me
I'm a weights
love HIIT.
girl. See, I started working out because Angela Bassett. I was never an athlete, don't play any sports, don't love it. Auntie Angela, like, she's 60. When I don't feel like working out and I'm like, yo, she's 60, I gotta go work out so I can look like that. So I'm a weights girl. I love weights. I love HIITs. There's something about the adrenaline that just keeps me going. So yeah, I'm a HIIT and a weight girl.
So for those of you who don't know HIIT, that's high intensity interval training. And that consists of
That consists of, you can use your own body weight, you can use weights, but it's just basically you're training at your highest intensity for a maximum of 20, 30 minutes. And you're burning more calories then, and even you continue to burn calories after. So
Absolutely.
sometimes when you see those people working out at an hour, hour and a half, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're burning more calories during the workout because
Right.
they're working out at a lower intensity, right? So that's how I design my workout, especially if you're working out for only 30 minutes. I'm like, you only got 30 minutes. We got to make this shit count, right? Go hard or take your ass, go sit down on the couch.
There you
Like,
go.
if you ain't going to work, don't come around here. So it's like, because I'm like, you're busy. You got to get this in. You have things to do. You have business meetings. You have kids to go take care of. So let's do this quick and make it work. And I find that most women can incorporate that. And I purposely designed the workout that you don't have to go to the gym. You can go to the gym, but you can do it at home. Because as I said, my clients are busy women who are on the go, women who have families, women who have side hustles, women who are professionals. So it's like, listen, tell me exactly what to do, how many sets, how many reps. I don't want to have to guess anything. I want you to tell me what to do. I just want to show up. So that's how,
What is a challenging workout for you? What are some challenges you have with fitness?
Some of the challenges that I have in fitness, my flexibility. My flexibility. So I've tried yoga. I kind of like it, but I realized for me in yoga, I can't do yoga at home.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I know what you're
For me, I have to know that I'm paying a studio and that once I show up for that hour that I've paid, whether I want to be there or not, the fact that I paid, I gotta stay.
Yeah.
At home, 5 minutes, and I'm like, yo, this shit's boring, I'm done. But I do find it relaxing, and I like how my muscles feel, and that definitely does help with my hits. But that's my reality. It will not happen at home. 5 minutes in, yo, where them dumbbells at?
And like you said, I think it's so, you have to know yourself.
You have to know yourself and know what works for you. That's the reality.
You can't do what everyone else is doing.
Exactly.
What works for someone else may not necessarily work for you. What you enjoy, someone else may not necessarily enjoy. So really, like, finding that thing that really speaks to your body, your mind, and your soul when you're doing it. That's it.
Call it.
Your sweet spot, and going forward with it and being consistent is key. Now, I like to sweat, and I am a sweater. Like, when I work out, my friends are like, oh my God, you're like a man, get away from me. Like, it's dripping from my chin and my nose. I don't know if it's boogies or sweat. Like, I don't know why I go hard. And so I love Bikram yoga, which I don't know if you ever tried that, but that's done in 100-degree. And it is, I can't do regular yoga because I'm like, okay, we done yet? You know? But once I feel that sweat and I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. But I'm sweating and I know I'm burning calories and I'm stretching at the same time. I feel like my body moves better with that
yoga.
heat. Oh.
Any yoga for me, once I've paid to be there and I know I can't leave because one, it's burning up my money that I work hard for, or two, the fact that I'm gonna be that asshole that interrupts the class.
Right.
But any yoga at a studio, it's not happening at my place.
Okay. So, as we've talked a lot about fitness, what is 2 great pieces of advice you would give to anyone looking to start a new fitness regimen?
2, 1, find something that you like. If you don't like it, you're not gonna stick with it. So if you know you're not a running chick, don't start running. You have to like it and stick with it.
Right.
2, be consistent. Consistency is the key. So it doesn't make sense, okay, I'm gonna start this week every day for 6 days or 6 days out of 7, an hour, and then 2 weeks later, you don't do it. You're wasting time.
Right.
So find something you like and be consistent with it. Right. 3rd one, lift weights. Ladies, we're still afraid of weights. You won't look like a man. You won't look like a man. You burn more calories during and after. Lift some heavy stuff.
Yes. I love weights. Thank you. And so before we get to our question and answer session, I would like for you, Rudy, to tell us what you're working on. Tell us some of your projects you're working on, and just give these ladies a little more information about you and what you're doing.
Few things that I'm working on. One of them is my mentorship program. As I said, I remember when things was so rough where I couldn't figure out how to get ahead. And I would pray and I would cry and I would tell God, once I get out, I will pay it forward and I will mentor other women. It doesn't have to be young women. I'll mentor other women who are looking to become entrepreneurs, help them to avoid some of the mistakes I make, help them to get to where they want to be, teach them things.
Right.
And that's something I'm definitely working on. So if any of you ladies are interested in that, definitely let me know. And I've been doing more speaking stuff also on entrepreneur and health and fitness, because I still realize that so many women still don't know where or how to incorporate fitness. They don't
Absolutely.
understand the importance of fitness. It's not just about fat loss. It's also about, increasing your self-confidence, your self-esteem, which translates into your business life.
Right.
So those are more stuff that I'm working on. Definitely the entrepreneur and the speaking portion, and of course the mentorship.
Awesome. So first I want to shout out 730 Tavern for allowing us to use this space today and providing us with an amazing brunch and beautiful mimosas. Let me take a sip.
Buffalo chicken wings. Or the buffalo chicken.
The buffalo chicken, Trudie enjoyed. I also want to shout out Wilbur of Audio Chemist, my great friend and producer, shooting this film today, and he's amazing. I also want to shout out Panda Care in the house. Panda Care is here for all your child care needs. If you need pickups, if you need drop-offs to and from daycare, child sitting, whatever you need, we got Panda Care in the house. We also got the Millie blog in the house. Please follow them on Instagram. Check them out, bringing amazing information to the community and financial information. I mean, just a wealth of knowledge, putting on amazing platforms for young people and millennials to learn information for being successful. We also have one of Boston's top Zumba instructors in the house, Carmen Fuentes. Energy on 900. I will tell you all, she tried to kill me one day at the park, but I'll save that story for another time, because to be honest, I would let her kill me again. So again, I just want to thank all of you for taking the time to be here with us today. Thank you, Trudie.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yes, we really appreciate
Thank you for showing
this.
up in the rain.
This was amazing. This was amazing. I'm really feel blessed and grateful for the opportunity to have you here with us today, because I'm definitely an Instagram follower of yours, and I just love
supporter.
Yeah, I like that. Yes.
I hate the word follower. I like to call anyone who.
I'm just going by the words they got on Instagram.
Yeah,
but yes, I'm definitely an Instagram supporter, and I really love what you're doing, especially when it comes to mentorship, right? Because we need more of that especially for Black women-owned businesses and Black women who are aspiring to become business owners. So we appreciate that. Thank you again to all my listeners and viewers for joining us here today. Stay tuned for upcoming episodes.